It's bright and sunny in the greenhouse today, and that really gets me in the mood to garden. I can't wait. So if any of you are thinking of gardening, we're going to be creating a little seeding video here for you today to prepare your veggie garden. So when we start to think about seeding, the first thing we want to do is do some record keeping. So what type of seeds are you sowing? When are you sowing them? What's the germination date, the germination success rate, and when are they ready for transplanting? So the point of doing all of this is to evaluate for next year. What would we want to do a little bit differently if we could go back and remember? So record keeping is very, very helpful in subsequent years. When you are considering seeding, you want to make sure you plan for losses. Some may not germinate, some might die off due to fungal disease. And you also want to make sure you're considering your space. So always try to envision your garden, your veggie garden or flower garden, a little smaller than it actually is. So we tend to get over ambitious and maybe overseed. So try to envision it half the size it is, because you want to make sure you plan for spacing. And lastly, you want to consider timing. So most seeds you're going to time 6 weeks seeding before the last frost. So just about the end of March, beginning of April, right around this time is when you should start thinking about seeding. So what type of container should you use when you're seeding? Plastic is definitely preferable to clay because you can control moisture more evenly. You want to make sure your vessel has drainage in the bottom, so definitely make sure it has drainage holes, and you want to make sure it's wide and shallow because you want to control moisture and you want to prevent the overcrowding of roots. One thing you definitely have to make sure of is that your containers are clean. If they have been used before, soak them in a 10% bleach solution to clean them. And don't forget to label your containers with your seed variety. So when it comes time to seed, you're going to use a premium seed starting mix. So this is a lightweight soil. Dump it into a container where you can moisten it with water in advance. So you're going to moisten it with water. Then you're going to fill your container or tray just to below the rim with the moistened soil. You're going to press it down to make sure it's nice and firm. You can put the seed on top of that layer, and you want to make sure you push the seed gently to make sure it has contact with the moistened soil. Fungal infection, or damping off as it's commonly called, is usually caused by excessive moisture or poor air circulation. So how do we combat this? Using vermiculite. We can put a thin layer of vermiculite on top of our seed and soil layers, and it will prevent excessive moisture from building up and thus prevent fungal disease from growing. We can also use a small fan, if you have a small fan at home, and put it at the side facing the top level of your seeds. Be sure not to turn it on too high because you don't want it drying out excessively, but this will prevent excessive moisture. Seeds are very sensitive to underwatering and overwatering. So to combat this, we can put a layer of plastic over top of the seeding tray, and this will create a more constant level of moisture. The pot must still be checked daily for watering to make sure it's not overwatered or underwatered. Heavy-handed watering is not good because it disrupts the seed. So what you want to do is use a spray bottle with water, clear water, tepid room temperature water, and spray it over top of the seeds. As soon as the seeds germinate, you want to make sure you remove that plastic cover from on top. Seeds require warmth to germinate. Optimal temperatures are between 65 and 75 Fahrenheit. So the best thing to do is to use some source of heat beneath the tray. So you can use a heating pad if you have one. You can also put it on top of your fridge where the motor generates heat, or you can put it near your oven. Don't put it on a heating bed though, because it will over dry. If you are using something like a space heater, just make sure you take extra precaution to make sure that you're being safe. As soon as the seeds sprout, you're going to want to remove the plastic covering and place it in direct sun. A south-facing window inside the house is optimal because it will grow best in 12 to 16 hours of sun every day. Proper nutrition at a consistent rate is perfect for the plant. You have to create a great environment for it. So inside the seed embryo, it contains all the nutrients it needs to sprout. But once it has sprouted, you'll need to supplement with additional fertilizer. So start to fertilize it weekly after it has germinated. When the seedlings sprout their second pair of leaves, it's time to consider transplanting. So start to prepare your containers, make sure that they have drainage in the bottom, and keep them out of direct sunlight for a couple days until they sprout their roots. Before you plant your seedlings outside, you want to make sure you climatize them to fluctuating temperatures which are cooler than your interior temperatures. So what you want to do is do this over a 3-day period. On the first day, put it outside for a few hours in the morning, the second day, half the day, and the third day, the full day. Then you can plant them outdoors. So when is it safe to plant your seedlings outside? Some plants are more tolerant to cooler temperatures and can be planted when the temperature is just at freezing or just above. So things like lettuce, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, these are super cold hardy and can be planted. Other plants are more sensitive to cool temperatures and should only be planted outside when it consistently stays above 10 degrees Celsius even at night. These plants include cucumbers, squash, melons, zucchini, peppers, and eggplant. I hope you enjoyed our informative video on seeding, and I hope it got you excited to get your hands dirty and get ready for this upcoming spring season.